Hello and welcome to Dishing Delights. My name is Jenica and today I'm going to share with you another week's worth of dinners. This was week 4 of the Pantry challenge, so let's get into it. For meal number 1 this week, we had a beef and rice bake. I took that leftover seasoned roast beef and rice that we used in last week's Shelf Stable Pantry Meals video, and I broke all that up, mixed it all together, and then once that beef and rice was all mixed up, I took some leftover corn that we had and I added this to the dish as well. And this was just a meal that I was taking all sorts of things that we had left over and I was just adding it to this dish. Because I also took the leftover gravy from the pork chops that we had and I also added it to this dish, and then I just added a bunch of seasonings and tried to make it as tasty as I could. Sometimes you just got to get really creative to get things out of your refrigerator. Now, as you can see, I'm adding in that gravy right now. That gravy was just 2 cream of mushroom soups that were cooked in with the pork chops. And once that was all mixed in together, I baked it in the oven at 350 degrees until it was nice and bubbly. When I first got it out of the oven, it was kind of runny, so I put it back in for another 15 minutes. But before I put it in for the 15 minutes, I taste tested it and it needed a little bit more salt and pepper, so I did add that into it. And then, as you can see, the second time around, it was a lot better cooked. It was nice and bubbly. And then I just added a little bit of cheese to the top of this dish. And then we just served this with hot sauce. This wasn't like my favorite meal, but at least we were able to go through some leftovers. The next meal was one of my favorites. We had venison meatballs and mashed potatoes and green beans. Alright, we are going to make some meatballs. I have this venison burger here. First thing I'm going to do is crack an egg. I'm going to add in the meat. I have some leftover breadcrumbs from some croutons. And then a little bit more breadcrumbs. Some onion powder. Some garlic powder. A little bit of seasoning salt. Some pepper. And some Worcestershire sauce. Also just a squirt of some Sweet Baby Ray's. Going to chop this up just a little bit and then I'm going to just get right in there and form them with my hands. Then I'll add them to this. Alright. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit more breadcrumbs after I wash my hands. Okay, that's going to be enough. It'll have to be. I don't want that many breadcrumbs. And then I'm going to take these leftover mashed potatoes. And I'm just going to mash this right into this container, and it will bake up beautifully. And then I'll just throw a canned veggie on the stove. All right, this is our dinner. My husband's out fishing, and I didn't want sauce on my meatballs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab mine. I'm just gonna take some of the smaller ones. And then I'm going to add some barbecue sauce on the top of the rest so that when I reheat his up, it's got a little bit more flavor. And then I heated up some green beans and mushrooms, just 1 can of each. And then our leftover mashed potatoes that we just put in a baking dish. Just grab a small scoop of that. And that is what's for dinner. The next meal we are going to make is some turkey and noodles. Alright, I have that turkey broth that I made the other day. The little bit of turkey that I got off of it. Some carrots. And then I'll also throw in some egg noodles into this. I'm going to take half of these carrots and add them in. As you can see, they're a little bit freezer burnt. Now while this starts heating up, I'm going to add some garlic and onion powder, some celery seed, some thyme, some turmeric, a little bit of paprika, just any seasonings that you like. I'm also going to add in a little bit of salt and pepper. Alright, now that my carrots are thawed out, I'm going to add in the rest of my ingredients and turn down the heat just a little bit. So I'm going to add in my smoked turkey. I'm going to add in the rest of that quart of turkey stock. It needed a little bit more salt, so I added in some seasoning salt. Alright, I have this jar that has some leftover egg noodles and this bag. This is almost at a boil, so I'm just going to add in all of these noodles. There's two different sizes of egg noodles here. You have some wide and some extra wide. Alright, the noodles are cooked. I like to let my beef and noodles or turkey and noodles or anything like this set and kind of soak up those juices. The turmeric turned this dish really yellow. So I'm going to set this aside and then we'll just serve it up. And this is what we'll eat for dinner the next couple nights. This looks so crazy in real life. This is bright yellow. And that is what's for dinner. This looks delicious and it took less than 20 minutes to put together. For our next meal, I'm going to heat up some spaghetti sauce, make some spaghetti squash, and some spaghetti. So for that spaghetti squash, I'm just going to cut that in half. I'm going to remove all of the seeds, and then I'm going to bake this in the oven. I have my oven at 400 degrees. I'm going to place these cut side down on my casserole dish. I'm going to poke them with a fork. And then I'm going to bake these in the oven at 400 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. This is a pretty small one. And then I have some spaghetti sauce that I made quite a while back that was in the freezer. I pulled that out this morning and I'm going to serve my portion with this spaghetti squash, and my husband, I'm going to make him some spaghetti. I have my spaghetti sauce that I'm just warming up. I grabbed this out of the freezer this morning. Then I have water. It's getting ready to boil. I'll add some pasta to that. And this is what we're having for dinner. We're just gonna keep our spaghetti sauce on low. And back here, I'm going to add in my spaghetti noodles into my salted water. All right, let's check it out. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. Oh, I am so excited about this. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And then I'm just going to break this up a bit. All right, to this I'm going to add a scoop of that sauce. My mouth is watering. And I'm not a big red sauce girl, so I'm not going to add too much. And I'm going to load up on that Parmesan. And that is my delicious plate. And then I'm going to take these cooked noodles and add those in. And that is my husband's. I'll plate his up. And there is my husband's. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my next video. Thank you so much for watching.